Hey guys, Hardcore Elite here, or Hardcore 1337, and I just want to make a deck profile of my Dark Worlds today. I hope that people can see this, give me some feedback. I'm wondering how I can make the deck better, if I have too many cards in places that do not need to be at that number. I don't know, y'all have to... You know, it would be nice if I had some advice on this, because I've been playing, I smashed my locals, but I don't know how good I would do in a regional area with this deck. So please feel free to make any comments, any concerns. Well, not concerns, but any suggestions you can make to improve the deck. So let's get started. First off, I run 3 Tour Guide. Tour Guide, I know, is a very hard card to get right now. I luckily got mine from a good trade from a friend, and I had to sell a deck to get the other, but all in all, I think it was well worth the sacrifice I had to make to get these. In the deck, they are just so broke. Obvious combos include Sangan, Brow. If you get the Sangan, you can go to any XYZ or let it sit to get another one. If you get a Brow and you have Grapha in graveyard, bounce Brow, special Grapha. If you have your field spell on the field, then you can ditch Brow, draw 2 cards plus 3. I think the card is broken Dark Worlds, and you shouldn't try to run Dark Worlds without them unless you really have the Fabled Ravens and maybe the BLS kind of build. But with Tour Guides make Dark Worlds extremely competitive. I'm pretty sure that the guy who got topped in Kansas City, if he had access to Tour Guides, would have done much better. And we could have probably gone top 8 or even won the whole thing. One Sangan, obviously to go with the Tour Guides. Obvious choice for Dark Worlds 2 because he's gate bait, I like to call him. Okay, let's go with Grapha now. Grapha's discussion basically pops a card. And when he pops a card, he goes to the graveyard. He's not done yet. He can pop back one of my Beiges or my Brows or any Dark World monster I have on the field, and he can come back and beat the crap out of anybody who got over him before or killed him with the Dark Hole. If someone tries to kill him, you can deck dev him and bring him back next turn. He's just such a great card. Triple Snow. Snow is our searcher. Without Snow, it would be very hard to get gates out consistently. It'd be very hard to search out Grapha. Snow leaves all these problems by itself. I think it's a great addition to the Dark World archetype. Double Beige. Beige is great. Beater comes out, bounce for Grapha, or it can attack for 1900 with the field spell. Just overall, I think a great card. And last but not least, Triple Brow for the Dark World targets. Brow is just so good. I mean, playing Dark Worlds without Brow is like trying to play Dark Worlds and wanting to lose. You have to play Brow to draw your cards. And a Fabled Raven. Fabled Raven is good. He gets discards out. He can be for emergency synchroing. And a Dark Arm, because we control our graveyard so much, I don't see why not. If there's anything wrong with my monster lineup that you all think could be improved, because I have a lot of cards available for the Dark World deck genre, please let me know. If you think Sorelli is a good idea to run in here or something, please let me know so I can work on it, because I want to get my deck as strong as possible, because I've worked so hard to get all the cards for it. Okay, let's start with the spells. I'm going to lay down triple Gates of the Dark World. Remove a card, discard a Fiend type, get their effect usually, if it's a Dark World target, and draw a card. You can instantly almost +2 here if you're smart about it, especially with the Tour Guide Grapha Brow play. Oops, sorry about that. I wasn't ready to put that out there. Triple Drag Down to the Grave and Dark World Dealings. I think that this setup right here of 4 discard outlets is great. Why not, I ask? But at the same time, you may have some dead hands, so that's why this is the most iffy part of the deck about me for this setup. even though I think it is pretty sick the way it's been running. But please let me know if you have any better ratios of these cards right here. A Foolish Burial. Broke card, instant dump, Grapha dump. That's all it's there for. It's basically a way to, it's like saying, okay, I get to discard Grapha, but I don't get his effect, but I can bounce him. MST, my friend painted it for me. It's pretty nice. And it's card destruction. Pretty badass card. I mean, it lets us discard our whole entire hand. And we get the effects. And I also have, just random staples here. All good cards. Removal and Reborning. When you play Monster Reborn in this deck, though, if you get Grapha, or if you see somebody get Grapha, they're usually not, they don't know what they're doing because they can just get a Brow and then bounce back Brow for Grapha or Snow, and just +1 themselves. Now, for the trap lineup, I have separated it into techs and to necessities. If you're running Drag Down to the Grave, necessity, double Mind Crush. They put it at 2 for a reason. You gotta run double Smog in a Dark World deck, I think. You can get away with 1, but I think 2 adds a lot of consistency. If you have two chances to discard a card during your opponent's turn and disrupt his play, I would say take it. Double Solemn Warning. Solemn Warning is a great card for any deck that is meta-oriented. And a Solemn Judgment, just to stop the worst cards in the game from doing anything to my deck. Text, 1 Deck Devastation Virus. Broke card in a lot of matchups. 1,500 or less monsters are discarded and cannot be drawn. And you can check face down defense monsters like a Raikou or whatever and get rid of them. And tech that everybody is trying out. Triple Reckless Greed. Broke card. We draw 2 cards, we can't draw for 2 turns. But if we have the field or other cards to discard, then we're completely fine and we'll be happy for the rest of the duel with this setup. Now for the extra deck. I run half XYZ, half Synchro, because I only have 1 Fabled Raven right now. I have a bunch of options for him, though. Just, I'm going to lay these out. You know what all of them do, except for maybe 1. Just, this is the normal lineup here. And the Dark Highlander is very specific for the Dark World deck. If this card gets out against plants, let's get these staples out of the way. If this card comes out on plants and you can defend it perfectly, double Warning, double Solemn Judgment, Starlight Road in the back row, I guarantee you they pretty much almost want to flop because they can't do anything to get Dark Highlander out of the way. Without their only out would be Dark Hole. Dark Highlander is just so good in the deck. I would run 2 if I had another Fabled Raven, but at the moment I really don't. XYZ monsters, Steel Swarm Roach, Wind Up Zenmaines, Leviathan Dragon, double Utopia. Only 1 Utopia is really going to be in the deck. The other Utopia is just holding a slot for another card. I haven't figured out what to put there yet. Need your all's advice on that. And double Levier. Double Levier is just too good in a tour guide oriented deck. And now the tournament side deck. And this is what I consider one of the most important parts of building a deck. If your deck is starting to get smashed by someone else's, what are your outs? What can I do to stop me from losing? So I was like, okay, well, let's figure this out. What gives me the most trouble? Effect monsters. Effect Veiler for activating against only certain cards. And if I need to shut down all their effects, double Skill Drain. This takes care of any effect problems I have with an opponent. If I'm having problems with them spamming, I have my Gozen Rivalry little mix-up here. And I also have a Mirror Force and a Torrential Tribute for spammers. So I'm covered for the spamming part, which is what most decks do. I know there's a lot of back row hate, so obvious Starlight Road, if I cite in any of those cards. And for the mirror match, Maxi and Valor, debunks. I like to debunk my opponent when they're not gonna see it coming. Another MST. I think there should be a third one in the side deck, but I don't know where to find room for it, so please let me know if you can think of anything. And last but not least, Legion of Light, broke Hyperion. If I go into Tour Guide and Sangan against a lone Hyperion, I play Legion of Light. They're both 3,700 beaters. It's ridiculous. At least I think Hyperion has 2,700 attack. It may be 28. I'm not sure. But basically, any light monsters that they have, any light synchros that they have, are immediately overran by this Legion of Light card. It is just so broke. It's like one of the best side deck cards you can think of. Well, that's my whole deck profile for my Dark World. Please leave any comments, leave any suggestions that can help me improve my deck, and I will do more of these later. Have a good day, y'all.